Hello everybody, I'm Paola Bagnoli. I'm working at the Technology Transfer Office of Politecnico di Milano, and I am a biomedical engineer. I'm working mainly on prior art research, that is the research of the state of the art in the patent field. My second part of the presentation will be about how to perform a patent search and why to perform a patent search. What is a patent search? When I decide to file a patent and to apply for a new patent, when I have an idea, I must check and I must be sure that there are anybody in the world who already patented the same invention or something too similar to my invention. So why to perform a patent search? Because I want to avoid reinventing the wheel. I want to avoid the lose money and time for research and development in a field that is already exploited by someone else. Moreover, to search if there are any patents about my invention is useful to write a better patent application. It can help the patent attorney to describe the prior art, to focus on the background of my invention and to write a good patent application. I have to demonstrate, to prove that there is not a lack of novelty in my invention, so that the examiner who will analyze my patent application can approve the patent application. So I have to demonstrate to prove the novelty, and I have to avoid the infringement of patents of other companies. We need to analyze the patent prior art. Also, if I want to evaluate the patent portfolio of a company or of a university, if I have to license a patent, I must know which is the value of the patent, and I must know which is the situation in the field I'm studying. Moreover, if I want to find a potential licensee, a company that can exploit my patent, I need to perform a patent searches to study which are the other assignees and the other companies involved in that field. When do we perform a patent search? We have to perform patent search during the entire patent procedure. So starting from when I have the first idea and I start my research, for instance my thesis, I need to search if there is something in the state of the art to avoid losing time studying something that is already patented by someone else. Then when I decide to file a patent application, I have to contact the Technology Transfer Office if it's possible, or I can do it by myself if there is not a Technology Transfer Office in my company or in my university, and I have to perform a patentability search to check if there is other patent on the same field. Then when I file the national patent application, I have to search again and check if there are other patents, and when I extend my patent application with a PCT application. Yes, sorry, I just stop my webcam because you are telling me that you have problem with connection. Stop it. Okay. Let's start again with the presentation. So basically, we perform patent searches during the entire patent procedure to monitor if there is something in the state of the art, because when I start searching the first time, maybe I can lose some patent, because we have a period of 18 months in which the patent is not published. So I need to perform several patent searches during the entire procedure. How to perform a patent search? Well, it's not easy to find a patent, because sometimes patents are not written in an easy way. They are written as a legal document to be defended in a court. So I can't find easily the keywords to find the patents in the field I'm interested in. For this reason, it's important to search for patent in two ways. Using the keywords, that is the easiest way to search for a patent. As you perform the internet searches, you can use keywords also to look for to search for a patent. And I can search by technology classification. This is a little bit more complex as a concept. I will explain you how to do. First of all, you have to understand your invention, to find out the essential features of the invention, to identify the keywords that describes the invention, and which are the classification of my patents. Then I can check for patent citation. That means to look for all the patents that are cited in a document that I consider relevant for my research, and I need to use the proper database to file a patent. So you have two ways to search for a patent, by keywords and by technology classes. By keywords is the most immediate, but not always the easiest way, because the language of the patent can be complex, with a legal implication, because I want to hide my patent from the competitors. So to perform the good research only by keywords, I must be very expert in my field. What we suggest is to couple to the keywords the technology classes that are a code of classification studied by patent professionals that describes the patent and subdivides the patents according to technology area. So even with a lower experience in patent search, you can find the class of your patent and the area of your patent. Let's start with the keyword search and try to understand why the way of searching that is most common on the internet is not always the proper way for patents. Keyword search can be difficult because patent has their own jargon. Patent applicants don't use a common language. Here you have some examples. To describe a pen, simple pen, sometimes you use the word writing instrument, an instrument that you use to write. So if you digit pen on the database, you cannot find the patent, even if it's talking about pen. The same is for a ball bearing that can be described as a plurality of balls, or a spring that is energy storing means. So patents try to use more general words to describe my objects. This is why it's not easy to search for a patent just with keywords. So let's introduce the patent classification. The total number of patents is so large that a sophisticated standard classification system is essential. To make the search easier, every patent, each single patent, is classified, and we have a system of codes that groups the invention according to the technical area. So what you have to do is to find out which is the technical area for your invention. The majority of the countries in the world use the so-called International Patent Classification, IPC, that are approximately 70,000 different IPC codes for different technical areas. In the last few years, a second classification system was introduced by a joint effort performed by the European Patent Office and the US Patent Office. The second system is the Cooperative Patent Classification, CPC. These two are the most famous. In this table you can find other classification codes, but I suggest to use IPC or CPC codes. Where to find the IPC codes? In each patent, on the first page where you have the bibliographic data, you also have the International Patent Classification codes. So when you find a patent that is relevant, you can read which are the patent classification codes of that patent, and you can use these codes to classify other patents in the same field and to find the other patents of the same field. Where to find a description of the IPC code? On this link on the website of the WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization, you can find the IPC codes. We have 8 main sections from A to H, each describing a different field of work. And if I click on one of these classification, I have an expansion of all the subclasses and subcodes describing in a deeper way the invention. The same way for the cooperative patent classification that has been used since January 2012, we have 9 main classifications. Many of the classifications are the same of the IPC codes, but we have a more detailed description of the subclasses. So we have more than 250,000 classification entries. We have the section from A to H, that are 8 sections as the IPC code. Moreover, we have the section Y, that is the transversal section, including patents of different fields. The CPC is constantly being expanded as new technical fields emerge, so it's a working in progress basically, and you can find the detail about the CP codes on this website, and you can read the codes and find the codes that is pertinent to your invention on the SpaceNet database. SpaceNet is a database provided by the European Patent Office. When you enter in the website, you find here the classification search, and then you can click on each of these sections and read which are the subclasses. Let's see an example. If I click on the A code, I have the A61, that is the class containing all the patents from the human necessities and medical or veterinary science. I have the class 61B, that is the diagnosis, surgery, identification instruments, and so on. So I have to read which is the class that describes my invention. Please note that the dots at the bottom, close to each symbol, define the hierarchy of the class. So the hierarchy is defined by the number of dots and not by the subgroup codes. Let's see an example. The best strategy to search for a patent is to couple the CPC code to the keyword characterizing the invention. So if, for instance, I have to search for an helmet for a bicycle, a collapsible helmet that you use to protect your head when you go on bicycle, you can search with the keywords collapsible and helmet and find 41 results. It means 41 patents speaking about this topic. If you check the classification, you can find that the class A, human research, A42, headwear, and A42B, head covering. We have a subclass A42B 322 that covers all the patents with the collapsible helmets. In this way, I can find 188 results, all the patents that I would miss if I'm searching only with the keywords. Where to search? We have several databases that you can use for prior art searches. Some of them are free public database, other are professional databases that are not free, and some other databases are not available to the public. For instance, the Indian Patent Office has its own database that is not available to the other countries. Why we have different databases? Because the databases are based on search engines, and if you search on with different engines, you can obtain different results. Here we have an example of query, mousepad used for therapeutic application. Check on different databases, you obtain a different number of results. So you should perform your patent search on more than one database. Here you have a list of the main free database that you can use from your computer. And let's see an example how to search with the SpaceNet database from the European Patent Office. If you connect to the website of the European Patent Office, you have two ways of performing a search. A smart search. What's going on? Sorry. Okay. We have some problems, some technical problems, sorry. Okay. No.
Okay, share my screen. Okay. Desktop. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, we had a technical problem. So basically, when you are on the SpaceNet database, you can start with a smart search, writing the keywords on this part of the screen. But you can also perform, and I suggest to use this modality, you can perform an advanced search. You open a page with several fields when you can select the database, write the keywords of the title, if you know the priority number or publication number of the patent you are searching for, or you can use the CPC codes. So basically you can use all the information you have to find the patent. I suggest to use Boolean operators to couple the keywords, so they are the operators and or not that specify if my keywords are to be searched together or an alternative, or if I have to exclude with the not operation a specific keyword. You can use the truncation symbols that are some characters that stand for a string or for other characters. For instance, for example, if you are looking for the word car or cars, you are searching for both words, you can type car with a question mark the question mark stands for 0 or 1 characters. So I'm finding the patents that contains both the word car or cars. The same for the star. If you use the star, you are substituting a string of characters of any length. So if I'm interested in patent containing the word polymer, I'm finding with polymer star the word polymeric, polymer, polymerization, polymerize, and so on. This is just an example. You can find more information on this website. So let's try to use the SpaceNet to search patent containing the keyword cell and bioreactor. If I'm digiting these keywords, I find out more than 1,000 patents, and I can read the title of the patents, highlighted my keywords, and if I click on a patent, I can read the bibliographic information of the patents, inventors, applicants, class, the cooperative classification, the abstract, and I can see the drawings of this patent. If I want to download the whole original document, the full text, I have to go here to the original document, click download, and I can have for free the whole patent. If I'm clicking on cited document or citing document, I can see which are the documents cited by my patents, so I can see the tree of citations of my patents. European Patent Office is not the only patent office that supplies a database. Also, USPTO supplies a good database. It works more or less in the same way. You have a quick search or an advanced search, and you can digit a query composed by several keywords and Boolean operators. When I'm searching, I can find a list of results, a list of patents containing these keywords. If I'm clicking on one of the titles, I can find the bibliographic data, the abstract describing a topic of the patent, and I can find the citation that this patent supplies for other patents. So I can enrich my search. Conclusion, we can see that also the ARIPO, the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization, has its own database. On the ARIPO website, I can find the online service, and on the online service, I have the IP digital library when I can perform an advanced search with both keywords and codes, and ICP codes. You also have another African Intellectual Property Organization, that is the OAP. And on the website of the OAP, you can find all the information about intellectual properties and about how to file a patent application. Well, in conclusion, summarizing, to perform a good patent search, you have to combine CPC classification codes to keywords characterizing the invention. You have to use the Boolean operators and or not to refine the search, use the truncation symbols, and you can use the synonyms or translation in foreign language of my keywords. You have to check not only the title and the abstract, but also the drawings of the patents you find, and the claims and the full text, to understand if there is something that is interesting for you. And you have to look for the cited and citing documents to obtain a wider search. But And it's really important to perform the search on more than one database because you can obtain different results using different databases. I thank you for your attention. Here you have some reference that you can use to go deeper on these topics if you are interested in. Thank you. And if there is any question,
you can write it down in the chat, Atalia. If you haven't any question, we can say goodbye and see you on the next week.
If you should have any question later, you can also write us an email. You have our email address on the presentation. Bye bye, thank you.